Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Menu and Facility Design. My name is Stephen Hilborn, and it'll be my pleasure of leading you through the next 13 weeks of what I think is going to be quite a neat and new way of teaching. So, what today is going to happen is that we will go through both the syllabus. I will show you a little bit about Blackboard and give you some of the tools and pieces of information you need to know. So first, let's just pull up the syllabus. So you'll be joining me for the winter 2021 semester of Menu and Facility Design. We have a class size of about 55 students or so, and this is a course that is going to be considered asynchronous. And so by asynchronous, I mean every Monday, all of the material and the assessments will be available for you to complete. And every single week you will have to have them completed by Sunday at midnight. There's no set class time. We can meet whenever you would like. I am required to do some checkups with you, so I'll do that here and there, but otherwise it'll be on your own time. This right here is my email for an appointment, so anytime this is my WebEx meeting time. So anytime that you would like to meet with me, please email me at stephen.hilborn@georgiancollege.ca, and we can set a time, and then you can just click on this link. As well, when we do have some meeting times periodically throughout the semester, I will put on the announcements tab in Blackboard this link, and you can all jump in and we can chat about the course so far. So the course description is fairly basic. I basically introduce you to two different things. First of all is menu planning, and then the next one will be facility planning. Typically what we would do in a regular semester, which is hands-on, is that we create our own restaurant as far as the menu, the marketing, the design, the layout, the actual menu prototype, the costing. This year is a little different as we are now fully online. I taught this course last semester to mixed reviews, and the mixed reviews portion was that the technology that we use, the design software program, was not as accessible as we would have liked. It required a whole lot of jumping through hoops, and it wasn't not the same learning environment that I would have liked. So what we did instead was that we introduced, and this is really cool, we introduced a new gamified simulation program for a restaurant. And I'll go into that in more detail. What basically happens is that every single week you will learn a skill set of running a restaurant. So week 1 will be a tutorial for Knowledge Matters, and this will just essentially show you how the whole thing works. Week 2, we talk about location. So how do you select the proper location for a restaurant? Then we look at financial statements of restaurants. Then we go into menu design, pricing, and purchasing, which is all three of these are a huge component of your menu design. Then we go into layout and staffing, which is another huge portion of the facility design, and even involves you moving around equipment and purchasing different equipment for your gamified restaurant. And then we also touch upon some really important things such as advertising and digital marketing. And then we round it off with a 1-week lesson on menu engineering, which is after you have had some time throughout your regular restaurant cycle, a couple months, then you can take a look at your menu and your results and see what are your most popular, what are your most profitable, and start really tweaking your menus. We will finish off the semester with 2 projects. So the projects are, one is a turnaround restaurant. So we give you a restaurant that's not performing very well and you have to turn it around. And then the last week is Restaurant Mogul, which you start from nothing. And you have to create a successful restaurant. So you will choose your location and your market, your name and your advertising, your menu, you name it, and then you will go ahead. So that's the 13 weeks right there. It's a little bit different, whereas there is no specific test or specific assignment. Rather, it's just weekly assessments that you must complete by Sunday before midnight. One important note that I have to say here is that on the final week, which is 13 weeks away, so no big rush, The final one is due Friday by 5 p.m. only because that's when the semester ends. But other than that, Sunday before midnight for every other thing, excluding the first week where we just do a tutorial. Now there is a cost for this. It is a US-based company, and they use it at the University of California and Alaska and New Brunswick. It's quite a really neat program. It costs $51 US, so it works out to $69. But there was previously a textbook that cost $140. So yes, it does cost you some money, but it also saves you some money, so that's good as well. And I will show you how you go through that. So that's the syllabus right there, and that'll be located under course information for you to take a look at. I'm also really good at talking, always posting an announcement, letting you know what you should be required to do, and it's pretty streamlined. So I'll go into our course here. So I've already put up one announcement, just kind of giving you some information about what's happening. As you progress through this course, what you will be doing is that you will be selecting virtual business case sims. So when you go into this, you will start the whole process. Now, how you purchase and get access to this information is quite simple. For week one, you will do your tutorial. As I select week one, it'll open up and it'll just have an icon here that says tutorial. And all you gotta do is click on it. So for me, it's gonna load up the program right away. For you, it's going to prompt you to pay. So it'll prompt you to pay, and you're going to either use a credit card or you're going to use PayPal. It prompts up a tutorial learning phase of how to go through and use this program. So this is a short tutorial. This gives you an idea. This one here that looks like they're running like a retail shop. This simulation program covers sports, hospitality, hospitals, you name it. But it's really quite neat. So you'll go through this actual simulation, and then when you are done, the next week you'll be able to go through the next part. Let me show you what a regular week will look like. So we'll go into week two. So week two will be location selection. So there's a few different parts for this course. Location selection will include, first of all, a PowerPoint, which I have not included, but it'll give you, they're always about 8 or 10 slides long, and it's just a really brief introduction or tips on how to complete this week. The first thing you'll do is a location selection concept overview. So this is your readings. This is your course material. So basically what will happen is that it will pull up 2 or 3 or 4 page little data sheet on how to determine whatever that weekly lesson is. In this case, it's location selection. So it'll go through this. You'll read all of this information. My recommendation is that you make notes, because there will be a quiz right after this that may ask you this. You can always go back to it, but also throughout the challenge and the simulation phases, you might be having to refer back to this as well. So my suggestion, make some notes on those really important points as you go through. So here what are we looking at? 4 pages of material with some key terms. So you'll read this and prepare yourself. When you feel like you are ready, you'll go back and you will select the concept overview quiz. Now the quiz, I think all quizzes are 20 questions. They're all multiple choice and true and false. And this will be worth 2% of your final grade. And there will be 10 of them. So 20% of your mark will come from these quizzes. So you'll go through and answer all these quizzes. They're all randomized and they have a bunch of different answers. Timing is not really an issue. You can take it as long as you want, but you do only have one opportunity. So you have as long as you want, but only one chance. Now, after I'm done that, I will go into my case briefing. So my case briefing is going to outline what my goal is for the week, what my task is for the week. So the case briefing is usually only about 1 page long, and they're going to talk about what you're walking into. What is the situation that you're walking into? So it gives you stuff about your actual restaurant, where it's kind of located, how many people live in this area, what are the challenges that we're going to encounter, and what are some of the discussion questions that you might ask or talk about. The way I look at this is, at the end of this, you should be able to answer these questions fairly well. to ensure you're meeting the student outcomes, the learning outcomes. At the end of this, if you can answer these questions and have a smart answer, you're doing good. So again, this is just like a little 1 or 2 page little brief. And again, when you read that, you are ready for the learning phase. So then I would open up the learning phase. So the learning phase is also worth 2%. You have up to 2 tries. So you can do this twice. So if you mess up or your computer breaks down or shuts down, whatever it might be, you'll have another try as well. Now, the learning phase is essentially just letting you know how the system works and how to control all of the things based on location. As the semester progresses, you'll get used to using more and more of these tools, and then eventually you'll have use of all of these tools and a lot more freedom. So here, basically, this one is 8 steps, and they want you to go through and answer these 8 questions. Okay? So it'll tell you what to do. So in this particular one, it's asking you to move the restaurant and note the rent and type of potential customers in the area. Scroll down to location Q and click on the pinpoint icon containing the letter Q. This highlights the location, and then they'll ask you a question about that. So I'll go up to action. Now there's a lot of different things that we can do, but I will move the restaurant, and it said go down to Q. So LMNOP-Q. So Q. So it tells you the rent is $1,112, which will be this answer right here. But as well, take a look at this. There's people that are within 4 blocks. So it's mostly families and some business. And then people within 10 blocks, there's lots of families, couples, and business. But this will give you an idea of that. As we talk about this more for this particular location selection, you draw in something like 60 or 70% of the people within 4 blocks, and then the people within the 10 blocks is usually the other 20 or 30%. So it gives you an idea of what your draw is, what your potential market is. And depending if you want to be a family-based restaurant, a more sit-down romantic style place, or more of a business style, you would pick one. So let's just say I select this location. It's going to cost me $25,000 to move it. It has 4,000 square foot, cost per square feet, and down here somewhere, I have $204,000. So I'll just move the restaurant, and now it tells me where I've moved it to. So I'm right there, and I can zoom in and take a look. So anyways, you'll go through 8 steps. When you have completed these 8 steps, essentially this is the training phase, you will move on to the next one. And the next one being the challenge phase. So the challenge phase is worth double both the quiz and the learning phase. It is where now we put our skills to test. So this one's going to load up. And again, like I said, this is the location selection challenge phase. You'll actually see the ones down the road were actually inside the restaurant or inside the kitchen. This one here will give you just a short amount of steps. It's saying that this one, we need to choose the right location in order to make ourselves $11,000 in profit. So we'll go through, it'll tell you some ideas. Rent should be no more than between 5 and 10% of revenue. You're going to run some surveys. So by running surveys, you can see what kind of people like to shop where or eat out where. And then through all this, you will be able to find out where they go. Now your current grade will be located right here. Currently you have 19 out of 40. As you complete this and do it properly, you will see that you will score higher. You can submit at any time, so you don't need to get perfect, but often people do. And then this is right here is also how you run time forward. So I can start and it'll just run regular time so you can see the clouds moving and whatnot. Or I can run to a specific date. And usually in the restaurant world, we go, Monday through Sunday, a 1 week time, in order to see some new numbers. Let me see if I have anything. So I can view the restaurant as well. So this is your restaurant layout. I can take a look at the kitchen, my food storage. There are all kinds, the city in itself, and you will be able to pull up all kinds of different information parts. So an income statement and a balance sheet. An income statement will basically say what kind of food and beverage sales that you have, your food costs and beverage costs, your waste, and you can look at it from both the numbers standpoint, but also as a percentage of revenue. So a 28% food cost, that's really quite good, great. 3% beverage cost, that's wonderful. 29% food waste. So that is insanely high, and this is obviously why we're losing 41%, as well as staffing. 69% of our revenue goes to staffing. Usually that should be around 30 as well. So again, this will give you lots of information. You can look at your product or your menu mix. So this is what your current menu is right here. It'll tell you your quantity sold, price, cost, all kinds of information. Again, this goes through weekly and will teach you all of these things. There's even Gazette ratings as far as how you are doing from critiques, and there are messages, and messages will come from staff members or customers saying, we don't like the beverage menu, we don't like the dinner menu, we had to wait too long. Again, it gives you an idea of maybe what you're doing wrong. So I'll go back. So that is essentially what the full week is made up of. You'll do a brief reading and the concept overview. You'll have your quiz worth 2%. Then you go into your case briefing, find out what you have to do for the week. Take your learning phase to understand how to work the simulator, and then take your challenge phase when you're ready to do that. Both the learning phase and challenge phase, you have 2 tries at. Again, that's just in case something goes wrong or you feel like you can do better. And on top of that, they are not due until the Sunday at midnight every single week, except for the last week. There'll be lots more of these videos. I will frequently, if not weekly, every other week, jump on and tell you some videos about what's going on and some catch-up stuff. For now, I'm going to only open them up 1 a week. But as we progress through this semester and people get comfortable with this simulation, I may open up several so you can work ahead if you want. Other than that, I'm looking forward to this semester. I hope you guys are too. We've done this once with hotel resort students. They seem to love it. They love the flexibility of how to learn, and they really just enjoyed the gamified nature of it all. So I hope you have fun. Please, by the end of week 1, finish your tutorial, sign up for the program, pay the money, and let's get the ball rolling. Nice to meet you all, and I'll see you soon.